Hi there, this is Val with Folk Art Wings, and I'm ready to do the next step with my journal. I've taken a cookie box and sandwiched two together, cut them apart, sandwiched two together, and covered it with fabric inside and out. And this is what I've decided to do with my cover. I think it's really pretty. I'll want to reach for that and journal definitely, unless I decide to sell it. And this is the first time I've ever videotaped any of my processes, and so bear with me with all my mistakes that I'm bound to make, and I laugh at myself over the mistakes so that they don't trouble me, so I hope they don't trouble you. We did the little vintage clock that's a laser cut. Got that at the Dollar Tree, I think. It's already been stained. It's got details that are incredible. See, all of the numbers are there. Anyways, in Roman numerals to beat that. So anyways, we've got it all covered in 60s fabric, 60s and 80s. I did my first, I struggled. I've tried to get this on camera, but I was struggling so badly. This thing is very strong. It's got a lot of ability to cut through a lot when you want to punch two size holes. If you want to do two size grommets, it didn't seem to be a problem. This was a very tall grommet that I had to gravitate to. I tried little ones, didn't work. It was too thick of a base. So I had read online how to use this thing because I had no idea what I was doing wrong. And I bought some extra long ones of these grommets or eyelets. And they said a lot of them, if they don't have these little teeny splits around the rim of the inside part, that they will split, and like this has. That's really the whole thing. It's not a piece broke off. It just splits somewhere. But if you look down inside the hole, it looks like it's in there pretty good. And so I've pounded it with a hammer just to try and smash that down as flat as possible. What I'm going to do next is I'll cover that with something, and then all the signatures are going in here, so that won't be an enormous problem, at least not to me. It's not going to be an eyesore. I'll make sure that's not showing. Cover it up with a little swatch of fabric. I could do a whole strip that goes down the middle, which I might do. I am going to attach this lace to the binding, the spine, as soon as I decide how I'm going to attach my signatures. So on to the signatures. I'm going to do, I like chunky journals, so I'm going to do 4. And that way, if I want to keep this as a year-long journal, I've got 4 seasons to work with, and there'll be plenty of pages in there to document whatever I want to document throughout the year. Anyways, so I'm going to put that aside and move on to my paper choices. I have stuff all over the place, so I try to organize, but then I have so much, I can't organize it in one space because the area that I store everything is small. Anyways, one of the major things that I wanted was to have one of these mailing envelopes inside. And I looked at I folded it. It looked like it would probably be small enough. And so I checked, and it is going to be a perfect addition to this. Once it's bound in, it may stick out a little bit. I don't have a problem with that because, it's got reinforcing along the edge. I can make it even stronger so it doesn't get too tattered or worn. Depends on how it shows in here. Once I get it in with all the signatures, that's when I'll know how much sticks out and what I want to do with the edge. So I'm not going to decorate this, even though I'm going to incorporate it into my journal. It's a little, oops, of course. I'm standing doing this because I notice that when I walk away or sit down, the sound isn't as good. So I'm going to stand for this particular video, and then I bought a mic before, and my iPad has no place to plug it in. So I don't know exactly how to plug it in so I can get the recording overlapping the video. I'm doing things the way I've been doing them. I hope that's okay. I picked out some papers that I could use in here, and I'm trying to keep a neutral tone, and so I'll show you those. Let's get the possibilities of papers. I want to incorporate papers that, these are printed. They are not, I rarely use them, but I like them, and so once in a while I put them in. They're special because one of my daughters bought them when I first started doing junk journals, and she knew how hard I was working on in the heat of August, trying to dye papers and get different effects and so on outside. So, and we live in the South. It's very, very hot here. It's in the 90s always, up to past 100 in August. But anyways, I love them. They're smooth, they're pretty. So I do incorporate those in some of my journals. This is kindergarten writing paper that I just love, so I'm going to put a piece of that in there at least. This comes from a science book, and it's old paper, very old, and it has a great feel to it, great color. I love pen and ink, and so when I get gardening books or any kind of book with a pen and ink drawing, I love to save those out. And let's see, more of the things that we've already made in previous videos. So I had an old calendar book that I thought it was pretty big, so I'm going to try and incorporate that. I did this a long time ago. It's an old printer page and then a book page, and so I sewed them together, preparing them for a journal in the future. I was just having fun doing that. I also did this a long time ago. Same thing, it might be an end paper from a large book, but then I sewed another page on top of this one portion, and then I cut this poem with the beautiful illustration in a poem, this paper out of this page with the poem and the beautiful artwork, and then incorporated that together, sewed it together. I've got more science books. This one I just sewed a piece of old art paper from an old drawing pad that my children had and stamped on it, attached it. It's glued down. Stenciled a couple of novel pages. I've got some scrapbook paper that I put calendar page and signed. I thought that was great. I love this little rabbit with another children's book page. Color is wonderful. So I love to sew in my journal, so I added that. Isn't that pretty? And I've talked about this before in previous videos, but this is an acquaintance of mine, did pen and ink architecture and made it into wrapping paper, and I bought several packages from her. I printed on a book page, an index page. This is a real fern hand-dyed eco page, and I sewed on the two ends, and you can feel the texture. I love the transition of colors. Sometimes at the end of an eco bath, I'll throw in a tea bag. I usually do a very large stack. This is just tea and fern leaves and paper, and that's what I came up with. You can feel the veins. Just beautiful, I think. Really, really pretty. This is a copy of notes in a French book, and I enlarged them and printed them out, and then inside I just did a little digital print and did that on the inside. Here's another eco paper. And this one, I had a lot of petals, leaves, that kind of thing. This one has a tremendous amount of texture. They start to fall apart, disintegrate after a while. I did have plant life in it. It was the stamen of a sedum plant. I let it go to seed, and this is very rough textured. And when I lifted it, it actually did tear a little bit in the paper, but I love the character, and so I'm including that. And I sewed all around it. More of children's writing paper, but this one's a little bit different, a little bit different color, a little more impact with the lines. The other one was faded a little more. This is a copy of, this is some of that printer paper my daughter gave me that I was talking about. And what I did is I ran an apron. I scanned an apron and then ran that through. And the apron's pink and gray, and I wanted it in these tones, so I just put that print on there, and I think that's really cute. And this is just tea-dyed papers, and you know, no two ever looks the same. This one actually came out with almost like a grayish purple line and some pink dots, a lot of yellow. I never know what's causing that reaction. The papers are different each time. I use old, I use new, and I bake them in the oven to get that crispy. I have a load of this gold printer paper, so I wanted to use that. And I may double up on a lot of these. I did a watercolor of some mushrooms, and so I printed that out on this old piece of printer paper. And I have some pen and ink drawings that I used to do for my wholesale shows, and we'd write up the orders, and tags were illustrated this way and so on. It identified my paperwork in my shop too, and my daughter did stationery that went along with that style, and so I included a piece of that. I have a bundle I put together a long time ago. We've got music sheet paper. This is English workbook and notations. This is from a Trader Joe's newspaper. I scanned some dried leaves that I had on cardstock. This is from an old magazine. Felt like that was 2 sheets. I know magazine paper was better quality back in the day, but it's only 1, but it's a great advertisement for perfumes and the Air France. Really neat. If that doesn't fit, I'll try folding it or cutting it down. If it doesn't, it might not go in. All of these papers probably won't get in there, but most of them will. That's from a French workbook. This is just an order sheet. This is a card. Add a little pop of color, just like the calendar will. And I'll try and coordinate these colors throughout. A black and white from, I think it's a floral design book. And an ad from a magazine. Music sheet paper that I punched on the edge. Another ad paper. Hermes jewelry. And this is a really large student's French book. And so I dyed all the pages. Came apart really well. Look at the color, it's fantastic. Took it really well. They were old to begin with, a little bit lighter than this, but the staining took really well, and they didn't disintegrate. I was so happy about that. And so I use pieces of it. Sometimes I include the whole thing. I've got brown packaging that's crinkled. May as well use that, right? I've got some book page here that I did a project. That's one of the projects we did previously. I might use this. It's just printer paper, and I know it's folded. And I just scanned some embroidery. I love the colors, so I may use that. I've got some pockets here that we already did. I'll show those when I use them. A dictionary page that I did a watercolor rose picture, And then, so now I've got, I ran it through my printer after scanning it. And I did just a little bit of like master boards from a calendar book. And then I sewed all throughout. I'll probably back that with something so you can write on it. And this was an eco-dyed notebook paper. And I did another, just took an end piece and did some scrapbooking. Like a masterboard, gluing down pages. This is just small illustration paper, very old. Handmade paper that I bought on Amazon. Same thing with this paper. It's like a grass paper, a rice paper, and I bought that online on Amazon. This is eco-dyed. I love this. Can't remember what leaf was this. You never know what you're going to get, and I just love the effects. I'm fascinated by it. You can see the whole leaf here. It kind of reminds me of, I think these were maple leaves, if I'm not mistaken. They were either grape or maple. Here's another one I did. Look at all that rustiness. I threw in a little bit of washers in the bottom of the thing and then stacked papers. And it's got the veining. It's got wherever the paper was folded. I crumpled up some papers and threw them in. And of course, you know, the fibers start to let go in the water. But then when you pull them out, I try and smooth them out, the little tears or scrunchy places. But I use them. I mean, I love them. I think they're just fabulous. And this was coffee dyed paper, but it was on the bottom of the stack in the oven. And I always get the darkest at the bottom and the lightest at the top. And that has so much, you can feel the texture. You can still see a little bit of my eco-dyeing. This is the flower, veins of a leaf. This is hydrangeas. I see the stem and the spokes that go out on the big hydrangeas. Yeah, love that. And we've got another one here. This is dogwood blossoms that I did. Oh, my mistake. That was the full tops of the lace cap hydrangeas. You can see the big petals. It's the size of the dogwood, so that's why I thought it was so. Just went by that. And simple tea dyeing. I really crumpled this up in a coffee dye bath, and it's got so much texture. It's soft. It's not stiff and crunchy. It's soft. And you can still write on it. You can smooth it out if you want to. I kind of like it like that. I have several art books, and I love that. I'm all about the Penningan. I love that illustration. But I also like this color around this guy. I don't like him. The apps kind of looks like an abstract mountain scene if you cover that up like that. So I'm going to try and incorporate some of that in there, but not him. And I just fooled around on my printer, and I scanned a paper bag, and I scanned this album page. I thought it had great texture. I like the lines. You can even see the holes. So I'm going to use this kind of thing in my journal too. I mean, I've got the real thing, but I'm going to use some of that. I may use this to back some of those pages that I've sewn on to make it easier to write on. So I have other papers that I can choose from, but this is what I'm going to start with. And so I wanted to show you the biggest mainstay of the papers. You can see it's a lot to choose from. Oh, I picked up the doily, paper doily, which I like to put paper doilies in, but I'll probably use a tea stained one. I use a lot of little pieces. I'm gonna do fabrics. I'll show you my whole any of the fabrics and laces and so on. I'll show you that stash. But I'm going to go ahead and get to folding on my papers now. And then we'll come back to see where we're at on the time slot. If there's time, I'll go ahead and sew the signatures in and let you see what my end result was. And so I'm going to stop the video right now so I don't bore you to death with folding. And then I'll come back and flip through what I've got folded together. And then I'll start to sew in the first signature. Then I'll come back after I've got them all sewn in. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my 4 signatures in here. You can see they fit nicely right now. Of course, it's going to get, full when you start putting little things in your pockets and so on. But most of the pages are ready to go, ready for you to journal on, and you won't have to do too much bulk adding because I'll put pockets throughout for you to use. Everything has to get trimmed down and make sure it fits inside. There are plenty of pages to get you through one full year. So you have the 4 seasons out of your signatures, and that's easy to keep track of. And there'll be paper clips for markers and, all kinds of fun things to add as we go. So I'll flip through a little bit so you can see. I chose wallpaper for my signature covers. They all have a finish on them. They're from the 80s. They're washable wallpaper, so they have a really nice finish to them. And I think that assortment looks really good with the cover of the journal, and the theme is going with a neutral tone. And so I'll just quickly flip through so you can see some of the things I've gathered. There's children's workbook from high school, music sheet paper, some dyed, some naturally aged, a book page, tea dyed, doily, printer paper, children's writing paper for kindergarten age bracket, a diary page. This is the book jacket of a gardening book that I pulled out all of the pen and inks of. So I love the color of this, and the feel of it. It's got a pen and ink illustration, so I'll cut that down or make some pockets out of it, but I'll include that. And handmade paper, of course. I've got a windowed envelope that I'm going to use for a page, and we'll see what we can come up unique to do with that. And stationery and eco-dyed paper. This one's absolutely gorgeous. Some more eco-dyed paper, tea-dyed. This one is wrinkled because I pressed flowers in it, and you can see some of the stems and leaves. And then we have more book pages, a diary page with art on it, French. And I'll show you how to mute down some of the magazine papers so you can write on them. So it's always gives you more writing space. And one of the pockets that we worked on in an earlier workshop. I've got workbooks and music sheet, again, children's book page, note cards, tea dyed, catalog papers, eco papers. This is drawing paper, has a nice texture to it. Some construction paper, book page, hand dyed paper, children's workbook, more book page, note paper, tea dyed with some stamping. Book page again with some illustrations, almanac page, some old end papers from a book, book page, and some wrapping paper, craft paper, French book page. It's very old, so it's fragile. I'll try and strengthen that out and use it in here. Printer paper and book page pocket, double pocket. I'll put lots more in as we go through. There was so much of this wallpaper that I flipped it up. I'm going to hopefully do I think I'll do it this way. Well, it's full pockets either way, but anyways, I'm going to do it one way or the other. Pocket on the front or pocket in the back. Then we have calendar page and some wrapping paper and pockets and craft paper. And end page, greeting card. Flip through quickly. Map, not map, chart page. Calendar page. This is from an almanac, tea dyed. You can see how fantastic the leaves came out on this. This was my grape leaves paper bag and an old school textbook. This is from a map book, and I printed on the one side. Tea-dyed, and then some baking sheet paper, stationery. We've got more tea-dyed, more illustrated book page, half a pocket music sheet paper, eco-dyed paper that's sewn, and a double pocket book page from a book page. And then we've got some printed leaves. I think the leaf image looks great with this theme because it's so earth tones. I don't want it to look like fall, so I'm shaking it up with some of the other pages that you'll see. I love this calendar paper picture, and I attached that to a chart page. And then book page, music sheet paper, handmade paper, children's writing paper, a diary page, a greeting card. I might change that out. I think the lavender's too festive for what I'm doing here. I've got others to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out because I like the card. I don't like the lavender. It's too intense for this book. Some stamping on tea-dyed. This is Trader Joe's newspaper, magazine, children's book page, end papers, dyed papers, window envelope, pen and ink. Love this calendar page. I sewed that to a children's book page to reinforce it. We've got eco-dyed paper. It's going to be flipped out. More eco-dyed paper, book page. More eco-dyed. That's got sewing all around. Children's book page, another children's book page. This one's a workbook, and this is a reading book. Tea-dyed recipe card from a book that has the D-rings that you can clip them out, and it's card stock weight. I love it, and the color's great. We've got more book page that I stenciled, and then we have a double pocket on the center. And of course, if you don't like photos that are in your journals when you get them, I like to put my own in. Just cover the photo up. Put another little piece of paper on it, write on it. Gives you another journaling spot if you don't like the photos. I like old photos, but I like my own family photos too. So as we go through this, I will show you how I'm going to decorate some of the pages with pockets. I've got a stack of little swatches and cutouts and fussy cuts and cute little things that I want to add. I have more. This is just the beginning. And then I have things like book pages that fold out into letters that I'll clip in. And I didn't use this page that I had talked about earlier, so I'll probably use that somehow within. I've got tea bags, smaller doilies, paper sacks, pockets. I love this one with the feather on it, so I know I'm going to want to use that. And I have belly bands that I've got. I've got offcuts from scrapbook paper. And these are the images of some dried basil leaves, and I printed them up and made a belly band out of it. I think that's kind of cool. And then I have some pen and ink that I turned into a belly band, sewed all around it. And then this one's got embroidery on it, and I sewed that to book page. I always try to sew them to book page so you can see the junk. This one's book page, and I did collaging with several different old offcuts and ledger paper, that kind of thing. Really cute. And I do take my offcuts sometimes. I've got an old photo I reproduced over and over because I love how it turned out. And I just sewed a band of brown cardboard on the edge, and it's backed in book page. And the book page is very fragile, so I glued it down and sewed it. So I can use somewhere within the journal too. And I've got more of the pockets that we decorated and book page decorations and, you know, just more different things that you can use. This was paperback books, and I have an age one. And what can you do with them? They're small, so you can put them in like this or make pockets out of them. They're fine for that. And I took 2 pages and sewed around them. But particularly, I want to leave this one tucked in a pocket because it's got all this writing space on it. And I think it turned out really great. And I just backed it to a book page. So another book page that came out of it. So I can't wait. I'm excited. Can't wait to dabble in this. The pages are not ready to be sewn in. So I'm going to go ahead and flip through this. It may take some time. I'm going to do it with you guys and decorate each signature. And then I'll sew them in and we'll see what we've got at the end because there's always more you can do. So can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you stayed to the end, I really appreciate it. That's it in a nutshell. I'm enjoying it and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.